The Boston Celtics have completely turned their season around after a rather disappointing start to the NBA season, but have now won 12 of their last 14 games on the year as things are starting to click at just the right time. This team still isn't on the radar of anyone's pick as a championship contender this season, yet this is still a team that you do not want to match up against in the first round of the playoffs, and they have proved exactly why over the last month. They might not have the best player on the court in any given series, but just like the Toronto Raptors, they have one of the best starting lineups in the league that can create matchup nightmares against almost any opponent in the NBA. The reason this team is the 6th seed in the East is because of their horrific start to the season, but it has almost seemed like this team has bought into a completely different style of basketball, as the once isolation heavy style of offense has now shifted to this unit actually playing like a team, making the hustle plays, delivering the extra pass, making hard cuts, and as some people may call it, the Boston Celtics are simply just playing winning basketball. Over the stretch of their last 14 games for the new look Boston team, the Celtics have improved to an offensive rating that is now 7th in the league, and what has made this team so dominant is the fact that their defensive rating has been the clear-cut best in the league with a rating of 96.5, and well, the next best team is the Denver Nuggets, sitting a whole 10 points behind them. I honestly do encourage you to take a look at that statistic for yourself so that you can simply just witness how good this team has been as of late, but that has ultimately resulted in the team having a league best net rating of 20.4, more than 10 points above the next best team in that regards, which is just absolutely absurd and could not be more clear of a stat to show just how dominant this team has been over their last 14 games. This domination is in large part due to the play of this team's starting lineup, as when Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, and Robert Williams are on the court together, they own a net rating of plus 27.8 in 309 minutes together over 24 games. Not only is that the best net rating in the NBA among any 5-man group with at least 200 minutes together, it's a staggering 7 points better than the next closest 5-man tandem in the Minnesota Timberwolves. Also, only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video. In the 15 seasons that the NBA has tracked advanced lineup data, the only 5-man group to log at least 200 minutes that ended a season within 4 points of Boston's current net rating was a Knicks lineup of Jason Kidd, Tyson Chandler, Carmelo Anthony, J.R. Smith, and Raymond Felton, and that was a plus 25.3 over 269 minutes together in 2012. Over the past decade, only 3 5-man groups have finished with a net rating north of 20 with at least 400 minutes, and there is a real chance that Boston could join that group, and if they continue to play at the level they're at, there's no doubt they could even be the best. It all starts with Marcus Smart, as he is the team's much needed starting guard, who does a little bit of everything for this team, as he shines in being an absolute pest on defense, who's in 4th in the league right now with 1.8 steals a game. Smart is and has always been a spark plug for the Celtics, which makes him so special. He hustles to get loose balls every chance he gets and provides some much needed energy that this team needs whenever the morale is down, and honestly could have been a massive difference maker in what turned this entire team around halfway through the season. And then we have the 2 best players on this team in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Tatum's not having the best season of his career, although it isn't far off from what we're used to, and that's because of the whole dynamic of this team at the start of the season, and I honestly think that that played a massive role in him not shooting the ball too well while the Celtics were playing through him in isolation basketball. As the team has been on their recent run over his last 14 games, we have seen Tatum clearly play the best basketball of the season, and once again I'm putting the reasoning behind the new team-oriented style of play that the team now has. He's averaged 27, 7, and 5 and over a steal per game, but where I think his game is strongest has been his efficiency shooting the ball, as he's been able to bring his shooting numbers to almost 50% from the field and almost 40% from 3 in that span. Both of these numbers are massive massive jumps to what he averages on the season. What is nuts about Tatum on this run, and is honestly at a point where I don't even know how to put it into perspective, but when Tatum has been on the floor in his last 14 games, he has a team leading plus minus of 271 points. This averages out to be plus 19 in each of those 14 games, where once again I don't even know where to start on how to explain how dominant that is. You just kind of have to take it in for yourself. It is almost identical with Jaylen Brown in terms of him not having his best season, yet he's still having one that's not far off from what we expect out of him. And honestly, I'll show his numbers for you guys, but this has been something that he's been able to do consistently all season long, and over this recent stretch of games, his numbers have looked very similar to these, with a small boost in his field goal percentage. Both of these guys, with their length, athleticism, and size, can obviously defend at a high level, and they have been main contributors to what could be known now as one of the best defensive starting fives in basketball, and this is finally paired up with its own version of two defensive-minded bigs in Al Horford and Robert Williams. Al Horford returning to the C's this season has just given them some familiarity at the power forward position in someone they can just count on to be consistent on both ends of the floor. He's averaged over a block per game, but it has been his combination with Robert Williams who has been one of the stories for this team. Williams is one of the biggest reasons for the Celtics turnaround, as the team has shifted his role into becoming more of a roaming role in the paint, and this has inevitably resulted in the team now becoming one of, if not the best defensive teams in the entire NBA. He's 4th in the league in blocks per game, and this of course makes defenders think twice before entering the paint with him on the floor and forces their opponents to shoot their way out of wins. And since this team has 3 strong perimeter defenders, it's been rather difficult to do this against them successfully. Staying healthy is the main priority for this team if they want to continue this level of play, as they certainly aren't the deepest team in the league, but it is no question that when these 5 are out there, anything is possible in a 7-game series, and this Celtics team is now old enough to know that as long as they make it to the dance, they can go up against everybody. However, this team does have 2 pieces coming off the bench to give them a little added boost, as Grant Williams, a guy who has filled in a few times in a starting position, is the team's 6th man, and deservedly so. He's been able to stretch the floor for this team as a forward, nearly shooting 50% from the field and 44% from 3, being a much needed backup weapon. And the team also just acquired Derek White during the trade deadline, who will be a massive contributor to this team continuing to play team-oriented basketball to finish the season off strong. As this top 7 group of guys head into the final stretch of the NBA season, they will have their work cut out for them, yet there's no question this team has figured out the recipe to win games, staying as far away from relying on isolation basketball as possible. With the East as wide open as it is, they're just 4.5 games back from the #1 seed. Something that once seemed to be impossible this season is actually up there for the taking, and you best be assured that no team is going to want to head into the playoffs playing against this Celtics team healthy. And we all know that benches shrink during the postseason, and this is an area where the Celtics look to be strong, as they have 7 guys on this team that cannot be counted out to make some plays down the stretch. Let me know what you guys think of this Celtics team down below in the comments, and if you think they actually have a chance to do something in the playoffs this season. As always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button to help the video get shared along YouTube's algorithm, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more NBA videos like this one that I will be posting multiple times per week. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great night.